Hey everybody, I'm here to talk about something that may be a little bit uncomfortable for some of you, but I really felt that I should share my story here. This is my miscarriage story. In 2015, I had my first miscarriage, and it was a very early miscarriage, so it was extremely confusing for me because I found out I was pregnant, and about a week later, I found out I was not pregnant, and it was very odd because there was such a celebration of being pregnant, and then that expectation was just gone, and there was a loss, and I felt a loss, but at the same time it was very confusing because I didn't feel very sad about it. I felt like I should feel sad about it, and I wanted to respect the little life that grew inside of me for a short time. I got mixed messages from people ranging from, oh, well, you'll try again next time, to, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And then it felt like I was an imposter because maybe I should feel a little more sad about it, right? So that was really confusing. Well, I got pregnant on the very next ovulation. I was pregnant with that second baby for 2.5 months, but by the end of January, I was miscarrying again. That miscarriage hit me a lot harder because I actually did have to birth the baby, even though the baby was no longer alive. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. So if you've never miscarried before, just so you know, you do have to birth your baby. But in the early miscarriages, you don't notice that because it's so tiny. As you get further along, you do notice it. I decided to have my miscarriage at home and not go to do a D&C or anything. I got a sonogram done. They made sure everything looked fine and that it was healthy for me to do so, and that's how I handled it. But I did not expect what was going to happen. It was a week, it was 2 weeks, it was 3 weeks. I still was not completing the miscarriage. I was still bleeding and I was just completely confused. So I went ahead and took an herbal remedy which stimulates uterine contractions. That night I completed the miscarriage. It was extremely scary. Very much like childbirth, but bloodier and much more painful in my mind. And it was so confusing because the baby was so tiny and was no longer alive, and yet I was having to go through these labor pains. That's something that I want to share with you. If you don't know what to expect, there is going to be pain and it's not pleasant. But at the end of the miscarriage, when that baby came, and maybe this is too graphic for some of you, I'm so sorry, but it was the tiniest, most beautiful, amazing thing. It was a little ball with this tiny white colored baby inside of it with little hands that like were touching the face, and there was so much peace and beauty in that tiny little sack. And it made me think, this is why all that stuff goes on inside of our bodies, because this isn't really meant for our eyes. There is something amazing that goes on in the womb when we share in creation with God, when we work with Him like that. There's just something really beautiful and amazing that goes down. And so I named that baby Violet. In my very first miscarriage, I named that baby Rose. And baby Violet and baby Rose are definitely in our hearts. The Catholic Church teaches a few things about miscarriage. We can hope that they go to heaven, but we really don't know. So there's a lot of beautiful teachings on that, but the general opinion is they're probably in heaven, and it is fair to expect to see them there. That is something that I look forward to. There's a quote, I don't know which saint said it, but it said, "The first face to greet you in heaven will be that of your unborn child." And that just seems so cool. It's amazing that God breathed a life into a soul that is forever in existence in eternity. even if we've never met them. There's a beautiful prayer by Mother Angelica about miscarriage, and I'm going to read a piece of it, and I will put the whole of the prayer in the description box below. My friend sent it to me after my second miscarriage, and it was exactly what I needed to hear. The beginning of the prayer, the person is asking God, why? Why did this happen? Why did I lose my baby? Why, my child, do you ask why? Well, I will tell you why. You see, the child lives. Instead of the wind, he hears the sound of angels singing before my throne. Instead of beauty that passes, he sees everlasting beauty. He sees my face. I created for my kingdom, and each creature fills a place in that kingdom that could not be filled by another. He has never seen pain or sin. He has never felt hunger or pain. I breathed a soul into a seed, made it grow, and called it forth. So what a joyful meditation. I breathed a soul into a seed, made it grow, and called it forth. And an honor to be part of that. So that's how I feel about it now, 2 years later. At the time, there were a lot of difficult processing moments that I had to go through. But at this point, I feel honored to have helped God create a soul that had a special place in heaven. And I think it's really cool to have a baby in heaven that's advocating for me because I'm the baby's mama. Another beautiful visual that I just thought of, somebody told me about Mary rocking the baby in her arms. And you know, if a baby is going to have a mother other than me, that's the mom I want the baby to be with, for sure. I loved that visual. That is so neat. So if you have experienced a miscarriage, I am so sorry that you experienced that. I know it can be a struggle in a lot of ways, but I invite you to look at it as a little blessing also, and to have gratitude for sharing in that part of the grand design. God bless you. Bye.